Nate G, 219 here to help it back and better. Y'all know what it is. It's November 10th, about 9:30 in the morning, but that doesn't matter. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help. But, sorry it's been a couple weeks I've been at you guys, man. I've been out of town working, and it didn't really matter. But I was out of town just doing basic work, no emergency work or nothing like that. So, it was pretty boring. I mean, but I was working. I can't complain. Was put up in a hotel for a week. I mean, hey, it's part of the job. I mean, as you guys know, I cut trees down for a living. I trim trees for the power lines. I love what I do. It's been doing it for about 4 years now, and hey, I mean, after what I had done for the years prior to that, being in prison and shit, I love this. I love this. So today, I mean, I'm going to kind of get back into the mental illness aspect of prison and the lack of care. Although things have changed for the specific gentleman I'm going to be speaking about, the reason I'm going to be speaking about is because I kind of wanted to know a little bit more about him after having been inside with him. And, you know, I told you guys a story before about him, and I didn't portray him in the best character. I'm not going to remove that video because I'm coming along, and you guys can go back and watch it, and everything I said in that story is facts. Now, I can't say I think this man needs to be free at all. But he definitely does not need to be in a maximum security facility. In my thought. I mean, he does need to be locked down, but being in a maximum security level 4, level 5 unit with single man cell, and no mental treatment is going to diminish a person. Now, laws have changed, and the maximum amount of time you're allowed to receive in the bubble cell is 6 months. Well, since that law's changed, he's at one point served 11 months straight in a bubble cell. And the only reason he got out of it was because he ate his own feces. I just received a letter, and I'm just astounded. I was saddened. I was sickened. But he told me his story. And, all right, this man, I have to read exactly what it was. And he does not have the best penmanship, but it's not the worst. I've seen much worse. I know guys that write things down every day and you couldn't read anything they said. But this man is mentally illness. The mental illness is just borderline of what this man has. So on the case where he's at in prison now, the only reason he was actually caught, the case happened in 2007. He was arrested in 2009, and it was because his DNA was taken and linked him to the case. So he was sent to the mental hospital where he was diagnosed by 3 psychologists with ADHD. I mean, that's one of them. Bipolar and anxiety, schizoaffective. I'm not sure 100% of what that is, but paranoid schizophrenic with visual and audio hallucinations, multiple personality disorder, anxiety and depression, and impulsive control disorder. He was on disability on the streets in 2008. So before he was even arrested, he was on disability for his mental illness. So one night he went down to go to sleep. I mean, he was going through a lot of depression and stuff. He was going through the divorce first of all, I'm not excusing anything. Don't ever think I'm excusing anything. And my heart goes out to the Jane Peppers, the victim's family, and the victim herself, and anybody that is friends or family with her. My heart goes out to you deeply. And I'm advocating for mental illness treatment, not criminal mental illness freedom. I'm not advocating for this because he is a danger to himself and others. He is definitely that. And his multiple suicide attempts, I think he said 11 total. I don't know. There's multiple. One where he was revived 3 different times. So that was the last one. He went to sleep one night. He was going through a bout of depression, and with his mental illnesses, he I don't know. He said he left the house. He doesn't remember anything until, I'll tell you, he woke up having sex with a corpse. He left his door wide open, and nieces, nephew, family inside, and kids and women, and his auntie, I think he said. It doesn't matter. Just in danger in Indianapolis. Not a safe place. Not the safest. I mean, his crime rate was actually per capita worse than Chicago by far as murders. So, at one point, I don't know statistically right this second, but you guys can look it up if you want. It wasn't a safe place. You don't just leave a door unlocked, let alone wide open, if you're in any state of normal mind. Hold on, time out. Timing. Yeah, if you're in any state of normal mind, you don't leave your door open out down there. It's not the safest place. It's like leaving your door open in Chicago or Gary, Indiana. Not smart. He broke in through a window, stabbed the woman multiple times, and woke up having sex with the corpse. But in a panic, kind of blacked back out, ends up coming to while running from some security, blacks back out, then officially wakes up at home with a blood stain on his pants. He's not caught. He's gone. Thinking everything's a dream. Anything that he'd seen was a dream for sure, because he's diagnosed with shit. And I'm not really 100% sure how a mind of somebody with that mindset, like how they interpret things in reality. But reality wasn't reality for him. I don't know that it is now. He says they are treating him a little bit better, and he has a roommate now, which I would not want to be the roommate. My God, because I mean, Tex is in a war zone. That's what his nickname is, by the way, Tex. And that's just a story about Tex. He woke up having sex with a corpse. Could you imagine that? But in 2009, yeah, he was arrested because of the DNA. And he ended up being sentenced to 99 years. And it was 65 years for murder and 44 for abuse of a corpse. Well, because of his mental illnesses and the way that the state extracted the DNA or came across the DNA, was not in the correct fashion. So he ended up giving the 44 years back to the state. So he's got a 65-year sentence. So the man was born in 1986. Okay. So that makes him 37 years old. And I'm sorry, I'm going to look him up on the DOC website so I can tell you his exact out date. Yeah, he's 37 years old, 37 years old now. He was 22 at the time of the crime. Oh, shoot. And his out date is February 25th of 2047. So if you take 65 years from, he was sentenced in 2011, but if you take the time of the crime, that's when his sentence starts, or from the time he was arrested. So 2009, 65 years, you divide it in half, it's 32 and a half years. That's how much time he would have had to serve had he gotten in no trouble whatsoever. And if he would have gotten his time cuts, it would have actually been 28 and a half years. So that would have been 2039. When I met him, his out date was 2041. Yeah, I was just doing math. 2041 was his out date when I met him. Right now it's 2047. So he can't actually get that reduced some. That 2047 means he lost 10 years of his time. It means that he had write-ups. He didn't have any new prison sentences, but he definitely could have caught cases. I don't know. I'm not going to go look all that up. He definitely could have caught out, say, cases, but it's not likely. I know for a fact he spent 11 years in segregation. A lot of that time was in a bubble cell. And like I said, he ate his own feces. I have a hard time saying it. I was dry heaving reading that letter. But to know that somebody had to go through that, the only reason he even did it was because they weren't going to take him out of a cell that was 106 degrees. There was a captain that checked the temperature, and the floor was 106 degrees. The cold concrete floor, which was the coldest spot in the cell, was 106 degrees. The air, eye level, 113 degrees. And I'm not kidding you, when it gets hot on these floors. These segregation floors that are in the Pendleton, and because I think that's where he said he was at that time, was Pendleton. And the shoe gets hot. The IDU unit, which I've heard closed down, thankfully, because that was a torturous hot and very unsafe. Very unsafe. None of these places are safe, by the way. The man I'm speaking of, he had a victim. He had a boy. The boy acted like he was a big hard-ass crip, which made like the 4th or 5th crip on the entire compound. Maybe the 25th in the state, because there just is not crips in Indiana. I'm sure there are, but there's not like that. And if there are, it's because they moved here, likely. Unless they made a set after they moved here, they would have to have the authority to do that. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I've never seen it. I have met Crips that just happened to be in Indiana when they got locked up, but I don't know if they were official. Who knows? I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. But Tex says told me he was a Crip and that Jesse was his sergeant in arms. Well, I think that was just a cover because Jesse was Tex's punk. But there were times that Tex would just be beating his head on the wall. He had a bald spot on the back of his head from beating his head on the wall. He had his crime scene photos hanging on his cell like posters. He was a sick, sick man. He is a sick, sick man. Like I said in the last video, he had his father, who is an ordained minister now, and two of his brothers had done the same thing. But I want to also let you know, this man, when death from age of 3, every pet he ever owned, nobody taught him anything. Every pet died, taken care of improperly. He knows that now. He thought a turtle, because it was cold-blooded, needed to be warm, so he put it next to the fireplace. Not in the fire, next to it. He thought the bird was too hot, so he put it next to the air conditioner and sprayed water on him and ended up freezing the bird. He was like 4 or 5. They don't know better than that, but they could be taught better than that. I mean, where was the parenting? It wasn't there. The parents were fighting. Grandparents were dying. Everybody he knew was just dying. He was not being taken care of. I'm not giving him excuses. I just want to see some help provided for him. That's all. So, hey guys, I'm going to link this man's information at the top of the comments. And if you guys ever want to give him a holler, again, his picture is on the description. You'll see on the thumbnail. I couldn't think of it. I'm sorry. But I got to get out of here, guys. I got to go up the stairs and hang out with my daughter a little bit. It's Daddy-Daughter Day. I love it. Right now she's watching Miss Santa Claus. So, yeah, about that time of the year, you guys know. If you want, though, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, and donate to that channel if you want to support. This is Nate G 219 to help it back up better. Never forget life's choices, guys. You know, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it.